All right, people, welcome to this live call today. Let's see if everything works as expected because we have to haphazardly throw together a new streaming setup here. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, then please leave me a quick comment, a quick like. I'll also check to make sure that we are live on all platforms, and then we will actually go into it. We will not waste any time. Bear with me for just 1 second, please. But yeah, let me know if you can actually hear and see me. And I'll click the other thing on here, and then we'll go right into the meats and bones. Yeah, I want to see if you're ready to get some knowledge, if you are ready to feel the vibe, so to say. And today we are going to talk about how to find a solid starting point to actually move forward and learn efficiently, because you know that every good thing basically needs a solid foundation and a starting point first. But I also want to hear from you, from you beautiful people that are listening to me at this point. Where are you currently at? Right? Just need a tag here, people. There we go. That everybody sees it with live. So where are you currently at? Yeah, are you an absolute beginner? Are you somebody that just yesterday decided they want to learn coding and you have no idea? Are you already learning some specific language? Do you use any courses? Whatever it is, let me know that in the chat, and I'll answer those questions. So I see a few people here. Hey John, hey Marianne. I'll show you how today, how you can easily find a good starting point that makes sense for your personal specific programming goals, and that will make it easy for you to continue learning. So the idea is that after this class, you will exactly know what kind of project you should be starting out with, and how to actually approach that project with confidence. And the goal is really that you have an idea of what to do, and you can basically get something started in an hour or so. Right. So when we're finished with this class, you should be coding. For everybody that's joined a little later, who is this for? This live class for? As I already mentioned, this is for you if you're an absolute beginner and you're just looking for an entry point. Or if you have been learning by yourself for some time, but you kind of feel like you're not really sure if you know what you're working towards. So to figure this out, maybe you're on the wrong track. I'll tell you if you are or not. But the most important thing here is that you have to be somebody that actually takes action and starts doing. You need to be somebody that actually takes action, because in the end, well, it's fun to watch me talk about it all day, and you just sit on your whatever, wherever you sit, wherever you see this live stream. If you're sitting on the toilet and watching the live stream, that's fine. But if you then afterwards don't go and take action, my dear friend, you will not get results. Because I'm giving you a hot knowledge here, full clarity about the first steps. Maybe even making a well-educated decision, and have me personally help you with those steps, so you don't waste any time or energy on the wrong implementation. And I mean, everybody knows that the information on the internet, there's a metric factor of information out there on how to get started. And if you looked at this, much of it is conflicting. And it's extremely hard to figure out, okay, what is now actually accurate, what is actually useful, what is actually up to date, what can you simply ignore. So if you want to be ahead of the curve, then get the pen and paper ready, because I'll give you the quick, like the 1 hour version of this walking and proving system that we use with our clients, and those people don't have this problem. So if that sounds good to me, send me let's go in the chat. Show me that you're as hyped as I am to actually dive deep. I'll tell you a little story now. When I started learning to program, when I just did my first steps, I did my Hello World, the world was different. Okay, we kind of need to acknowledge that it was the late 90s. The internet was in its baby shoes, so to say. It was very awesome, but it was very different. So there was no Google, there was no YouTube, there was no online tutorials, there was no Udemy, there was nothing of that sort, right? And back then, I didn't even set out to be a programmer. I just had I was a kid. I had a strong feeling of curiosity. And of course, as a teenager, you have a lot of time. Like if you're 15 years old, you have no responsibilities. It was a good time. But also for me specifically, um, I didn't have any idea on how to structure anything. Right? I did just coded a little here and there. And that is something that I just had to learn much later in my first real software engineering job. And the ingredient here is if I would have known back then what I know now, it would be a very crazy difference because there's so many very small things, details that make such a huge difference. And if you actually know about those and you approach those details in the right way, the whole process is just much more quicker and much more enjoyable. Now, this was 20 years ago. Now, about 10 years, more than 10 years, now 12 years of this, I've been doing it professionally. So for me, now it's very easy to talk about it. It's like, oh, okay. But I'm here to make your journey a bit less painful for you so you can also progress much faster. Some people, and you can let me know that in the chat to see it here. So, hey, Terence, some people have already started over a few times, right? And every time they find out, oh, it didn't go so well, and you kind of get a little frustrated. And whatever the Python book you bought, you put it in the corner, and then some time passes, right? And you kind of, you forget about how frustrating it was. You find some motivation again, and you try to find something new. And many people have repeated that cycle over and over. And of course, that's not that's not a way to live, to be honest. So that is what you should not do, obviously. And another trouble is, now anybody basically can put up a Udemy course or whatever, and it really there's no guarantee that the person actually putting it up doesn't know what they're talking about, right? And even if they know what they're talking about, and they're good in the technical aspect of it, most of them just haven't worked with beginners, and very often that just leads to them presenting their materials in a way that's just hard to follow. And realistically, you need to understand a few things here. You don't. This is key. Listen to me, right? Listen to me. This is probably one of the most important things that beginners get wrong. You don't need to know many things to get started. Many people get it wrong. They try to learn more and more and more and more and more and more and more just to feel ready to start on their own project. You've probably heard that you should be building your own project, your personal project. And they feel like, I don't know enough now to build my own thing. I need to learn more. Right? And they need more. You can't memorize all those things. You just can't. The reality of things is you just need a teeny tiny bit of knowledge. And with that, you already can, right? And you definitely must get started on some kind of project. So I'm going to talk to you now how to get started. There are a few steps involved. I'll give you some real world examples. So be ready to take some notes. So before we go into that, before we go into the actual nitty-gritty details, please in the chat let me know if you are not building your own piece of software, your own project. What do you think is your biggest issue or problem, roadblock when it comes to getting started learning programming? So I can adjust a little bit what I have prepared here for your situation specifically to make it just a little bit easier for you. So now, great. It seems that my video stream has frozen. I'll try to fix it, right? I'll try to fix that. Hopefully we can fix it. If we can't fix it, it's gonna be a little not a great live stream, to be honest. When you work with software, you tend to start hating everything technology related because many times you would just simply know how to do it better. I'll try to fix that now. Give me a second. We are all annoyed, of course. And let's see if we got okay, that looks good. All right, okay, we're back. So back to square one, step one. So what do you need to do? The most important thing here is key ingredient number one. You should only learn one programming language, and that's very key. Really, only one. The thing is that you can basically solve every problem that you encounter with every language. So in the beginning, there's absolutely no need to learn multiple. And if you, as a beginner, right, hop from language to language, which many people do, you will just be learning. You start all over again. You learn a little bit, you start over again. You learn the same little bit in another language, you start over again. And you will only scratch one surface after another. And this is not what you want. What you actually need is a good and deep understanding, right? And this is like learning a language that you speak. If you dedicate some years to learning Spanish, and you do this, I don't know, for 2 years, you'll get pretty good at that. You'll get pretty good at communicating in Spanish. And if you have that skill, that in turn will allow you to even understand a big part of Italian, for example. They share the same roots. And then, learning Italian is not that hard. And so when you go to Italy, you'll be able to communicate, right? But then on the other hand, if you spend the same amount of time just learning how to order breakfast and 5 beers in 20 different languages, you learn this in Spanish, in German, in Russian, in Cantonese, then you had made the same amount of effort, but in the end you just have a fun party trick, but you have actually no idea what you're doing. And that is exactly the same with programming languages, right? You need to understand that. You need to learn one, and you need to learn it well, so you begin to actually understand the underlying structures. And as a beginner, again, there is no need to learn another one for a very, very long time, right? Because you're trying to become a programmer. You're not trying to, I know a little bit about this, I know a little bit about that. And this in itself makes it easier for you. You can focus on only one thing, one language, and you need to get actually good at it, right? If you do that, you save a lot of time already, right? So, one language only. Okay, second point, very important. When I say, okay, cool, I'll take the weird Austrian's advice. What programming language then? If I have to stick with one for a long time, I better pick the right one. So the first thing is, of course, always all the HTML and CSS. Those are not programming languages. They just describe how things look, and you can leave that out in the beginning, because that doesn't teach you anything about logic. That doesn't teach you anything about control flow. It doesn't teach you anything about problem solving, right? So that's not a good starting point. And even if you get really good at this, you can just build static websites without interaction. And who cares about that? Nobody, right? And like nowadays, I didn't code my website, right? Things like Squarespace exist. You can click a few buttons. You can build your static web page without ever touching one line of code. So it's not really a useful skill in itself, okay? And you need to understand that also many other things run code. It's not just web pages, okay? And usually those other disciplines are even more interesting. If you look around you, everything runs code, like everything. Your wristwatch, your microwave, your car, your phone, traffic lights, fitness trackers, airplanes, everything. Okay, so when you get that general idea, what programming language should you start out with then? And I'm curious to see your opinions here, so if you put that in the chat, and I'll give you my opinion as well. So it doesn't really matter which one, but there are a few guidelines that you kind of should be aware of. You need to pick a language that is versatile, right? So you're not locked into a specific niche, a specific field early on, because really you are learning the foundations at this point. The specialization, do I want to become a cybersecurity engineer? Do I want to become a data analyst? Do I want to become a robotics engineer? Is really a specialization that comes later as a cherry on top. You need to understand that this path comes later. You need to learn from the bottom up. You need to first understand how to go from a real world problem to a software solution. And that in turn will help you become a good programmer. So pick a language that is multi-platform, that is versatile, and that has been around for some time. This is also very important. Not something that is just a current hype. Oh, this is the new fancy language. Now you want something that has been around for some time, because then it will also continue being around in a few years. And I see in the chat here somebody put in Python. Yes, so things like Java, right? Python, C#, all very good solid languages. If you want my personal opinion, I feel C# is like the most comfortable to work with. So very versatile. You can build desktop, mobile, web apps with it, and it's relatively easy to pick up. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you pick, but you need to learn with that for a long time. Let's assume then you have picked a programming language. Now what do you do? Do you now spend countless hours watching YouTube videos, read 5 million books? You can guess the answer. It's no. You need to start with your own project before you know anything, basically. You start with a teeny tiny little project. And the important thing here is it should not be like some silly project that you found online, like a calculator, to-do list, Instagram clone, silly CRM that nobody's ever going to use, like all of those kind of things. You need to think about your own life, right? Build your own project. What are your hobbies? What do you do in your spare time? Is there something at work that could be automated? Because I see Patrick here, right? Focusing on PowerShell. Probably because he wants to automate a bunch of shit in his work, right? PowerShell is great. PowerShell also uses the .NET framework, so you might want to look at C# here in this case as well, because they share a lot of functionality, and building more complex things is going to be easier in C# than PowerShell. Just as a side note, because I saw Patrick's comment here. So really, you look at your life and you think to yourself, okay, I have this situation here. Could a computer program help me with that? And think a little bit outside the box. Do you play an instrument, for example? Because one of our clients built an application to help him learn various stringed instruments, right? Because he wanted to translate from guitars to ukuleles and banjos, which are all stringed instruments, but they work differently. So he built an application to translate songs from one instrument to another, so he could learn those instruments. That's a good project. That is a very good project, because that actually solves a problem. Maybe you have any hobbies. Maybe you want to analyze your bowling scores over time. Maybe your pet is on a diet. You build a food tracker for your cat. Do you spend too much time watching silly streams online? Build a program that kind of screams at you if you've been doing that for too long. Maybe you have any tedious day-to-day tasks that could be automated. You should build that. Make this your application. Make this your goal. That is key, because your motivation to build that and to finish that will be enormously higher, like 100 times bigger. That's really step number 3. You need to delete, like, from your brain, from your browser history, all ideas of stupid to-do lists, portfolio pages, e-commerce websites. You need to delete it from your brain. You need to start thinking about your own interests, your own day-to-day tasks. And of course, if you have trouble coming up with something, send me a message. I'll help you. I'll help you get your brain going, if you have no idea. And I know that it generally sounds counterintuitive, but you really need to get started on that project. You need to start that project before you try to amass an ungodly amount of knowledge. No, okay, I get it. That sounds a little scary. So, oh shit, but I don't know how to do it. This is where you learn. This is where you figure stuff out by doing it, not by reading about it. Key thing here is You learn with your hands, okay? You don't learn with your eyes. And believe me, that works. And with that approach in itself, you only look up stuff that you don't know how to do at the moment you want to do it. This will make your life so much easier because you don't have to memorize anything, right? Learning will be a side effect of building. This is also key. Like if you can take one thing away from today, right? Learning is a side effect of building. This is not a separate process, right? You play with the thing, you build the thing, and this is how you learn, right? If you do it the other way around, you'll have a bad time because you don't know. You don't know what you learn. You don't know what you need to learn. There's too many things to learn. You wouldn't go to the hardware store and then unpack every tool and read the complete user manual of every tool that you can find if you don't even know what you're building, because 90% of them will be uninteresting. If you build a garden shed, that's a different situation in terms of tooling than if you want to build a birdhouse. So flip that script if you have been doing it wrong. Let's summarize those 3 points. You need to learn one programming language, and for longer than you feel comfortable with. Very long, not, I don't know, not 6 weeks or whatever. Probably a year, right? Just this is the first step, right? One programming language. Step number 2, don't worry about HTML, CSS. Fuck it. You can learn it later if you really need it. If you really need to build a web front end. You don't need that always. You don't need that always. And it's very easy to pick up. Don't waste your time in the beginning with that. And step number 3, you need to find your first project by looking at your personal life situation, right? You'll find something. Everybody has things that annoy them. Everybody has tasks that they don't like to do. Maybe you always forget to send your grandma birthday wishes. Automate it, and whatever it is. So you'll find something. Again, if you need some help with that, I'll talk to you. Send me a message. You can always send me a message. I answer all my messages. But in the end, right, you're here, you're doing all of this. People are learning. I see it in the chat, right? People are actively doing the thing. You're doing this to become good at programming. That might be for your next career move. That might be to progress in your current job. I would assume that Patrick is doing that at the moment. Maybe you're just learning it for personal growth, right? It doesn't really matter, because in any case, if you do those 3 things properly, they will set you up to actually learn how to solve real-world problems. And solving problems is what we programmers do. That is what we get paid for. And if you do that in that way that I just told you, that's really the closest you can get to getting real-world experience without actually working as a software engineer, right? Without working professionally. So if those first 3 steps make sense to you, okay, and you feel like, okay, that approach could work for me, and you want to take a little deeper dive on that, so really 100% know that you're on the right track, and you want some professional senior developers to talk about that, then you can write "get started" in the chat right now. You'll get to talk to me personally. I will look at your current situation, and I'll see how you specifically should get started without wasting any more time. So all you have to do is write "get started" in the comments, and we'll make it happen. We'll have a little conversation about your situation. I'll give you all my advice that I can give you on a quick Zoom call if you want. And yeah, we'll figure that out. Man, we'll figure that out. Easy peasy. So I'm doing this because really the problem here is that I've been doing this for a long time, right? Helping people. I've seen so many people that genuinely, right, they want to learn programming, and they have the motivation, all of that is there, and they're being discouraged. They kind of give up, they get frustrated, they put it away. Whatever happens, they stop for some reason. And the reason is always, it's not because programming is hard. Okay. But really, because there's no clear guidance on what to do and when to do it and in which order to do it. And it's just extremely hard to figure this out by yourself, even to figure out what are the relevant skills. And so many people have quit for really the wrong reasons. They get frustrated because they've just been doing the wrong thing for a long time. And that's not a personal problem. That's not an intelligence problem. People start to doubt themselves at some point, right? Recently had a conversation with somebody that has been really trying to learn this for about 4 years. And he started to doubt himself because, hey, I tried the Udemy courses. I tried even joining a boot camp. Didn't really pan out. He subscribed to the university for a year or two for computer science. That didn't pan out. And at this point, he's kind of doubting himself. So maybe I'm just too stupid for that. And that's really like I've worked with hundreds of people now with all kinds of various backgrounds. And nobody ever was too stupid. Okay, you need to understand this. If you do it the right way, it's relatively easy. Everybody can do that. It's not you don't. There is no God-given gene that makes you a good programmer. So keep that in mind. So if you want some help, you can always reach out to me. Send me a message. I'm here to help. I'll give you some advice. Talk to somebody that has been doing it for 10 plus years, and make the best of it. I see a few things in the chat, so we still have a few minutes. We have a few more minutes left, so if you have any questions that you want to ask me now, put them in the chat, in LinkedIn or Facebook and over there on Instagram, right? So if you have some questions, let me know. I'll answer them. I'll give you a second to type those. Of course, if you don't have any questions, we'll end the stream. Okay, so so people. Take those 3 things to heart. Even if you if you do it by yourself and you actually you quit this stream here today, then I say, okay, I'm just going to stop watching tutorials. I'm going to stop trying to learn stuff. I just look for a project and try to implement that. If you do that today and tomorrow, you do that for 2 weeks, you'll see the difference it makes. So thank you everybody for joining. Oh, there is a question. Yes, not a question, but a comment. I will get started as you mentioned. I can't see your name here in the chat, but whoever wrote that, I like it. Do it. Don't fuck around anymore. Search for a problem, build a software solution, learn that way, and your life will be easier. Right? So I hope at least for this person where I can't see the name, I've made a little difference. If you do that, it will make a huge difference. Thank you everybody for joining. See you in the next live stream. We're gonna do this more regularly now again. And have a nice afternoon. Talk to you.